AITA for threatening to drop out as maid of honor? Update. I called my friend after reading all of these comments and told her how I felt about her behavior. And her fiancé's behavior as well. And, unfortunately, the decision was made for me. Neither of them want me in their wedding anymore because I'm trying to tear them apart. I cried. I grieved. And now, I'm going to take the money I've saved up for years as a future wedding gift for her. And I'm taking my husband on a vacation. And next year, we will be putting in applications for adoption if our fertility journey doesn't go where we want it to. I also want to say thank you to every single person who commented on this, because I have received more support about my experiences in one single day than I have in the last year. And that is just such a beautiful thing to experience. I appreciate all your stories and your kind words. Just know, it may have only been one comment on the internet for you, but for this woman, it meant the absolute world and was life-changing. Thank you. Second update. In the confrontational phone call, the fiancé admitted that their comment was about me, and that they thought I was ridiculous for waiting so long to go to the doctor for my infertility. / A little backstory. I, 30F, have been married for 10 years to my husband. And a year ago, I had a really exhausting, traumatizing miscarriage after years of trying for a baby with my husband. In the aftermath, doctors told me I may be infertile forever. This news of my dream of being a mother being crushed spiraled into about a 6-month-long bout of depression and therapy. I'm doing much better now. But it's still a tender subject as I'm still going forth with medical treatments and surgeries to try and regain fertility of some sort. Which I understand is my own fault. But I'm working on it. Anyway, I have a best friend of more than a decade, about to get married to someone she's known for about a year. And I'm the maid of honor in the wedding. The spouse has always been a little standoffish of me, being really sensitive when I try to talk to my friend or get her attention. My husband has joked that the spouse thinks I'm trying to steal my friend away. But I just laughed it off and ignored it. Fast forward to a couple weeks ago. My friend and I are having a normal conversation and she mentions she's trying to sell her house, which she bought by herself years ago. This is completely out of character for her. So I immediately ask what on earth is going on to make her do that. She answers, "We can't have babies in this house." This is the first time I've heard about this in a serious tone rather than just what-if scenarios. So I say, "I didn't know y'all wanted to have kids. That's awesome." Quote. She says, "Yeah. / My spouse wants to have kids immediately after the wedding. They said we don't want to be that weird couple that waits 10 years into our marriage to have a baby." Immediately, I feel like I've been slapped in the face with a flaming bag of bricks. I'm mad. I'm sad. I'm upset. My heart is pretty much broken. So, I said, "Say that back to yourself. Don't you think that's something really weird and specific for your spouse to say?" Quote. She basically freaks out, saying I'm overreacting and their spouse would never say anything rude on purpose. And she doesn't want this to be a problem at the wedding. For reference, this is not the first time the spouse has said something that bothered me. But this was the first time that I got teared up and genuinely upset about one of the comments. So, I calmly told my best friend, "I don't know if I even want to be maid of honor if this behavior towards me continues." Now, my friend, her spouse, and the families think I'm being a complete asshole about a simple little comment. And I'm kind of feeling like maybe I really was being way too sensitive. "This is a nice beach" is a simple little comment. "I like pancakes" is a simple little comment. Drive-by cruelty is not a simple little comment. And anyone who chooses to defend cruelty is an asshole. You're NTA for standing up to a malignant bully. That's a very oddly specific way to phrase, "I don't want to wait to have kids." At the end of the day, if you aren't behind these two 100% as being a couple, probably best to bow out. NTA. NTA. At all. That was a weirdly specific thing to say, and your friend clearly didn't think about what the implications were of saying that to you. So, I calmly told my best friend, "I don't know if I even want to be maid of honor if this behavior towards me continues. You are well within your rights to drop out of this wedding. If I were you, I'd be seriously considering my friendship with this person. If you think it's salvageable, then what I think you should do is list out all the hurtful comments and remarks that the fiancé has said. Show this to your friend. If she decides that his behavior is acceptable, then you know where you stand with her. If she decides that it's not, like she should, then there may well not be a wedding anyway." I do want to pick up on this though. I understand as my own fault. But I'm working on it. Your miscarriage and subsequent fertility problems are not your fault. Your desire to have them treated in any way in order to have a family is not your fault. You've been dealt a shit hand and you're coping far better than many others would. Best of luck with your treatment. I truly hope it works for you. Edit. Thank you for the awards. NTA and your friend sounds a bit like a ditz. If I had a friend in your situation, I would never quote that. I am sorry about your situation. I have a friend who went through a few miscarriages and now has 2 little ones now, and another friend who had to go through several procedures and is now pregnant. I truly wish the best for you. I would let your friend know just how bad HERSA makes you feel and how much you value her. NTA definitely not overacting, and even if it was a statement that was said without thinking, but to say you were overreacting, then thinking you were the asshole for not wanting to be the maid of honor is kind of messed up. This is not a simple little comment. Your friend is gaslighting you and being dismissive of your feelings, which are 100% valid. Even the emotionally inept would have known that was a cruel thing to say to someone in your situation. NTA. I honestly don't think it was a simple comment, to be honest. I do, however, feel like regardless of what your friend's fiancé said, she should not have repeated it exactly like that. She literally could have rephrased that any other way. A simple, "We want to start a family right away," would have sufficed. Do I think she was intentionally malicious with her words? No. It could very well be that they spoke about their goals in length and that's what stuck with her. Also, she knows you're not a weird couple who waited, so I don't think she consciously made an effort to hurt you. I do feel as if she was insensitive to your reaction though. And that's where the problem is. If I ever said something that hurt a friend, I'd be so damn apologetic. BC, that was never my intention. I think the fact that she dismissed it shows where her loyalties lie, and that's okay. Things change when you get married. I'd definitely look at her differently and begin distancing myself. Depending on how far we are with the wedding planning, I'd carry out my role as the most simply BC, I'm a woman of my word. But if it's the beginning stages, then I don't see why you can't pull out. NTA. NTA, it is an insensitive thing to say and you have every right to be upset. You do what you need to do. But keep in mind, you will most likely not only be quitting being matron of honor, you would also be quitting the friendship as well. Instead of just confirming that yes, she and fiancé did want kids and wanted to start ASAP, she chose to repeat a nasty remark he had clearly made referencing you and your struggles conceiving. Why would you want people like this in your life? You should not be in their wedding, and honestly you should seriously re-evaluate this friendship. NTA. NTA. I would ask the friend, why does she think her future husband is trying to isolate her from her friends and trap her at home with a bunch of kids? NTA. But I don't think this is about your friend's fiancé. She chose to repeat that comment to you. She knows what you've been through and she said it anyway. Instead of apologizing profusely, she got defensive, and her immediate concern was the wedding, not your feelings nor friendship. She's not a good friend. NTA. But your friend's spouse is. That is not a simple little comment. That was a specific aimed comment towards you. You're not overreacting, and I don't believe for 1 minute that your friend didn't realize that comment would be offensive and who it was aimed at. I wouldn't threaten to back out of the wedding. I would back out without any regrets. NTA. 1. Your fertility issues are not your fault, and if not already, do see a counselor to talk you through the guilt. Please. Point 2. While I cannot judge if the comment had been a comment intended towards you, I can say that given your history with the groom, as there apparently have been other comments, and the fact that the bride won't even acknowledge that even if the comment had not been a specific target towards you, it is the wrong thing to say. Given your history, you are definitely within your rights to drop out. Point 3. Now to the fun part. There is this idea about being the bigger person. Unfortunately, people tend to dilute it with self-sacrifice a lot. I give you an example, in case I am not coming out clearly on this one. A person jokes about me, bad mouths me, and I don't make a deal out of it, because either the jokes don't affect me, the person is just an idiot or misinformed. Now, I still could be petty. But why bother? It's not like the person in question is worth it. Hence I choose to be the bigger person. B. A person deliberately says something hurtful, and it actually hurts me. Now people then play be the bigger person card, cause they know it causes social pressure to not call them out, punish them, confront them. So, you were expecting to sacrifice your own dignity, be a doormat, or just take it. The reason why these two concepts have gotten conflated with one another in modern society is because some situations are very 50-50, even to the point where outside observers have a hard time judging you. An example for that would be Scenario B. But the person that hurt you is currently going through a crisis. Something murky like this. You and only you can judge whether this warrants being a bigger person or not. People don't get to tell you to be the bigger person because it's the socially convenient route for everybody else but yourself. It's your call to make how to proceed. But that might be some food for thought. I am sorry, that you are experiencing this pain at the hands of someone you loved and trusted. I agree you are NTA. And I also want to say that this. I said, say that back to yourself. Don't you think that's something really weird and specific for your spouse to say? Quote, is a really, really excellent response to such an offensive comment. NTA. It was as an incredibly rude comment. I have a red flag for OP's friend. She meets a guy and within 1 year she is getting married, selling her home, and trying to get pregnant. That is a big change in her life. It looks like her friend's fiancé is already putting wedges in her previous friendship. I see a pattern. Location flag, location flag, location flag. I don't have thing to say about this whole thing, but I understand as my own fault. But I'm working on it. No, it's not your fault. Miscarriage is not your fault. Infertility is not your fault. You need to get that out of your head. Pretty sure your therapist told you that 100 times. You need to listen to them. Be kind with yourself. You didn't ask for this. You're not at fault here. NTA. First, as has already been more than addressed, none of this has been your fault. I realize you know that. But I do feel what you said about feeling responsible for feeling sensitive in my core, and just want to say that you are completely entitled to having feelings. You've truly been through the ringer, and I'm so incredibly sorry. After a decade of experiencing a decade of soul-crushing disappointment every single month, you finally get your positive test, only to experience an extremely traumatic loss and the news that things may never work out. You've been through and are still going through a tremendously difficult situation and have every single right to feel sensitive. Anyone with even a tiny bit of insight into your experience would tiptoe around such conversations. Because most humans care about not causing such intense emotional pain to someone else. But your best friend of nearly 2 decades charged right in there with a heart-shattering comment. That was most definitely said with you in mind. As several others have said, you know if she's the kind of person who honestly doesn't think before she speaks, or if she meant for you to hear what was said. You've mentioned that she relays quite a few of his comments about you and your marriage, and my question is, why? Why does she need to pass those tidbits along? Does she want you to hate her fiancé, or does she actually agree with what was said and wants to say all of it to you with the excuse that they're her fiancé's words and she still loves you? A true friend would tell her fiancé to stop talking about her friends. But it seems like she's happy being his mouthpiece. You mentioned that she backed out of your wedding at the last minute due to work, and I find that to be extremely telling, even though it was 10 years ago. If she'd simply told you up front that she probably couldn't get the time off of her career-making job to support you properly, or had something like an unexpected death in the family, that'd be one thing. But to leave you without a mo at the last minute due to work seems incredibly selfish and more like a lie. Almost like she was upset that you were the first to get married, and now she's acting like there's a race to start a family without any consideration of your feelings. Does attention tend to revolve around her and the things she considers important? I'm not trying to trash your friend here, but feel like it may be helpful to highlight some behavior that may be problematic or could be completely benign depending on where you're viewing things. No matter what, you and your mental health are invaluable. You have to take care of you, even if it means bowing out of the wedding and watching a lifelong friendship fade. It may be for the best, but all of this depends on how she responds to you and your honesty right now. If she listens, empathizes, realizes how she's hurt you and begs forgiveness, awesome. This may have been an honest mistake of someone caught up in their own whirlwind. But if she gaslights, shifts blames, and invalidates your feelings and opinions, it's time to go. I wish you every good thing and all of the luck as you move forward on your journey to creating your family. You deserve joy and peace, and I hope you find it. I also had fertility issues and a miscarriage. And you can tell the innocent but hurtful comments from the malicious ones. The spouse made an intentional comment. People think fertility is easy, and it's a personal failing if you don't succeed right away. I'm also really confused why your best friend, who knows what you went through, would repeat that part of their spouse's comment. Is she that naive? NTA. Regardless, take some space. I really feel that someone should only accept the role of maid of honor or matron of honor if they are in full support of the couple getting married. I know you love your friend and you support her, but if you don't like the guy, how can you truly stand by her side? It could have been an innocent comment, but it does sound rather specific to your circumstance. I am sorry you are struggling with fertility and not getting the support from your BFF's side. Her fiancé. And don't let them gaslight you into thinking you are overreacting. NTA. But your friend's future spouse sure sounds like he is being pushy about your friend selling her home and making comments that seem to be a backhanded insult aimed right at you. And you mentioned there were other incidents as well? Your friend only freaked out because you were asking her to take an honest look at her unhealthy fiancé. And she doesn't want to do that. Your friend is a bit of ta for repeating what he had said to your face though too. She should have realized it might come off as hurtful to you to make rude comments that directly or indirectly, depending on your view of it, reference the situation going in your life. Is it possible he's trying to isolate her from her loved ones and the things that made her independent in order to make sure she doesn't have any way away from him? Or that he just wants the money from the sale of her house in order to buy something that becomes a marital asset rather than something she came into the marriage with that he wouldn't be entitled to? If she ever noticed he wasn't worth marrying and decided to divorce him, I'd be very concerned for my friend if I were you.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AmITheAsshole is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.